Hello, everyone. This is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and I have to air a little bit of grievance about an event that I went to a couple weeks ago. I probably should have made this video sooner, but I had company, and by the time I, had time to make this video, I had thought I had moved on. But I've been watching Chris Stuckman, a couple videos of his, and I'll link to them below. I mean, he probably doesn't need my support of all things because guess what? He has way more subscribers and views than I will ever probably hope to have. But nonetheless, he was talking about how moviegoers were annoying him. I made the first video 3 years ago, and then he made a second video last year for The Conjuring 2, where not only had the situation not changed at all, but in fact it had gotten worse. I do want to take a moment also to mention that when he says it's much nicer to go to a movie in LA, a screening, because everyone's pressed and they're all respectful, he is right. I mean, I go to so many critic screenings where no general public audience members are there at all that it's actually kind of easy to forget that cell phone talking and texting and gossip and movie commentary, as I call it, in the theaters is still a real issue for most of America. Unfortunately, I was reminded that it is a big issue at like the one place where it shouldn't have been an issue. Now, what am I talking about? Well, a couple weeks ago, I went to the, North America premiere, and I use that term loosely because we obviously had got this movie before in some form. Sailor Moon are the movie. And the event was a mixed blessing. There were some hiccups in the presentation, not gonna lie. Maybe I'll make another video about that some other time, but I have to say, for the most part, it wasn't necessarily the presentation that bothered me. The movie was clear, it sounded great. The staff, Viz Media staff member were really nice. The issue that I had was actually mainly with movie theater not understanding how anime fans mingle after movies to talk and cosplay and stuff, and of course putting a special making of feature before the movie. I really wish that practice would come to an end. But overall, movie presentation was fine. Before the movie started, people were in their costumes and they had their Sailor Moon merchandise. I stupidly wore my Where's Waldo shirt as opposed to my Sailor Moon shirt. I actually forgot it was that day because, again, company, it was busy. So, but, overall, lovely time by all. I mean, I even pre ordered the movie early, which this has the code and it's been redeemed. So don't try to redeem it again. And this was the cocktail list, even though I don't drink. I have very good reasons for not drinking. Don't ask why. I just know that they're legitimate. And it was fun to talk to Sailor Moon fans, and it's like some of us had been around for years, and it was like, yeah, never thought we'd actually get a chance to see us on the big screen, and hey, faithful dub. But during the movie itself, it reminded me that not only is the talking and audience interaction a little bit of a problem, but in fact, I don't know if I like seeing movies that have really dedicated fan bases anymore, because I think the fans actually can ruin the movie, like legitimately ruin the movie. And you might be asking, what am I talking about? Well, here's the thing. I know that this movie is 2.5 decades old. I mean, people are going to see it. In fact, a lot of people dressed up the way they were. These movie tickets were like $32 each once you factored in the convenience fee and the seat locator fee, which I want to add, by the way, 2 days after I bought the tickets, the seat that I had selected, it was told it was going to be a free-for-all, so I didn't have that seat reserved anymore. But I paid a $4 seat locator convenience fee. Well, the seat I got was still pretty good, but still, I shouldn't have to pay for something that I didn't actually get. But anyway, so this movie's been around for a long time. We've seen it. Most of us know it inside and out. I saw it multiple times subtitled on VHS, and then I saw it once or twice dubbed VHS, where it was really, really bad. And I want to say the new dub is so much better. And I was sitting next to a family who had brought kids. The wife had obviously liked this movie a lot longer, and it was like there was a new tradition. I get to take my kids to a Sailor Moon movie in theaters. Had my niece Ramona been 2 years older, I would have bought a second ticket and brought her along. We're gonna go see Sailor Moon in the theaters in this prestigious theater, and that would have been great. However, throughout the movie, people were cheering loudly at every inappropriate thing. When the girls transform, yay! When they say anything, yay! First time a character shows up, round of applause, clapping over important dialogue that might be needed to be heard if you're going to understand what's going to happen in the very near future. And it just went on and on and on. When they got to the Flower Planet meteor thing and they were showing the attacks, the cheers of seeing attacks that you see all the time on the show. It's admittedly one of the most frustrating aspects of it. And you can't even hear the score. You can't hear the score. You can't hear the sound effects. You can't hear anything because people are cheering so loud. Whenever the villain showed up on camera with Mamoru, the boyfriend of Sailor Moon, people would laugh and clap, and some people even make comments about how they were secretly in love. Which, by the way, I want to add, side note, I'm just throwing this out there because the Q&A session afterwards focused on the supposed romance between Fiore and Mamoru. I've seen this movie enough times over the years. There's no romance. It's a friendship. Trust me on this. Stop looking for political activation where there is none. But getting back to the movie, yeah, Mamoru and Fiore, whenever they're on screen, people are cheering or laughing or suggesting comments. And I want to add that because it's only 60 minutes, whenever those two are together, that's when most of the story is being described or elaborated upon because it is about them. I know it's kind of weird that Sailor Moon isn't really the main star in this, but she also wasn't the main star in the second movie either. She was really only the main star in the third movie, which is sad because that movie sucked. And I'm sitting there and it's like, I'm trying, first of all, there is a new dub. I want to hear what the new dub sounds like. I want to critique whether or not this is an improvement over the last dub, even though it's pretty obvious within the first 5 minutes it is. But if you can't hear it, you can't do that. And not only that, if you've never seen this before, guess what? Then seeing the movie in the theaters is totally pointless. But then I really lost it at the end. I mean, I didn't do anything, but this just pissed me off. Near the end of the movie, there are two scenes that are crucial. It's because I've told people, when people ask me, why do I like Sailor Moon when it's so cheesy? And I tell people, yes, it's cheesy, and it's got story problems sometimes, and it's obviously not made for adults, but Sailor Moon's strength lies in a couple areas. One, the characters are really, really believable and likable. You want these characters to be real. And the second way that it's great, and why I still like it years later, is that it has a very strange, if you will, gift to be emotional and heartfelt when you least expect it. And of all things, Sailor Moon Are the Movie has two scenes that are considered two of the saddest and most touching scenes in the entire series. Don't worry, I'm not going to actually spoil what those scenes are. Needless to say, if you spend any amount of time with this show before you see the movie and you see these scenes, it's hard not to get a little choked up, even though deep down you know at least one of them, this situation can't actually stick. Like, they can't have this twist stick and have a TV show the next day, but the way they quickly undo it, it's actually really sad and touching, and you forget that it's a gimmick. And what are the fans doing? They're laughing. They are actually laughing during these scenes. They are so excited to see them on the big screen. They're laughing and they're finding them funny, and it's like, guys, these scenes are dealing with loneliness and death and misunderstanding and being an outcast. These are themes that are all being dealt with in these scenes, and they're being dealt with actually quite beautifully for something that is about killer flowers. And you're laughing. You are laughing and depriving not only people who've seen the movie the chance to experience these emotional scenes in the big screen, but you're depriving new people who have never seen it before from understanding what the heck is even going on. Look, I know we all have a certain fanboyish tendency. I have met several key influential people that I admire in the field of animation. I have met Hayao Miyazaki, and I've met Glenn Keane, who animated Ariel, Little Mermaid, The Beast, and Beauty and the Beast, and Tarzan. Like, great guy. And I know that sometimes when you get in the right moment, you just lose it. In both these cases, when you shake their hand, it's kind of like, it's Glenn Keane. It's Hayao Miyazaki. And you lose it. You lose it sometimes. I understand that. But here's the thing. Movie theaters are where you need to observe the movie. If it's funny, laugh. If it's sad, cry. If it scares you, you are allowed to gasp. There is one scene in Sailor Moon, the movie, where everybody was just like, ah! And it was totally justified because of what the movie was doing. But don't cheer for things that don't even do anything. Don't shout comments at the screen. And here's the thing. I know that you know what's coming, but don't react to it before it even happens. In fact, in some cases, the proper response is to not react at all. Because these scenes where people were laughing, not only was it totally inappropriate, I think the director would have been offended if he heard this or if he saw this or whatever, because he didn't intend those scenes to have that kind of reaction. I bet you he made those scenes the way he did to stun you into silence. And had you never seen the movie before, that might have been easier. But just because you know it's coming doesn't mean you have to clue the other audiences that something's supposed to happen, especially since the audience members are going to be so busy wondering why you're reacting, they might even miss the importance of it. And I really don't know how to solve this. I don't. I wish I did. I don't know. And I mean, I've seen this happen at like a screening of the 1989 Batman movie when The Night Before Christmas got released a couple times. Similar things happened. This is just the most recent example, and it's the tipping point. Because despite how nice the event was, it makes me not want to go there anymore. Like, they're going to do it for Sailor Moon S the movie. I know they will, but I mean, I don't want to go to these special screenings where the audience is so disruptive, I can't reevaluate the film and find out how I feel about it today, right now. On a happy ending, thankfully, because I am in the LA area, there were a couple theaters that were showing Sailor Moon R the movie every day for the last week. Like multiple times, not a special screening, as a regular movie, and I went to one of those showings. And on the positive side, they were also subtitled. So I didn't feel like I was paying to see the exact same movie, but I shouldn't have to do that. Folks, what do you think? Is this being a problem? Did you go to the event, and did you feel frustrated by that? I'd like to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.